wwII.
Yeah.
The reveal was this week. You went to San Francisco. You saw it. What'd you think?
I did. What did I think? Well, I didn't get to play any, so
All right. You saw like a gameplay
kind of
demo?
a little early. Yeah, it's kind of early to make any kind of firm judgments like that. Didn't see any multiplayer, but we do know a lot about how things are going to work. Multiplayer looks very interesting. It's just going to be asymmetrical components, Axis versus allies. Just for an example, one team will storm the beach at Normandy, the other team will defend it. Just as an example.
That is the best Battlefield 1942 level. I'm excited to play that again.
Just an example.
So it seems like it's easy to be like, okay, they're hitting the World War II cliche again. I watched a trailer.
They are.
I'm kind of excited. I know we've stormed Normandy in so many games.
We say that.
Of games, but
it's
it's fun to see this generation.
And it is, too. The same sense like I got, too. It's like, I'm a big Saving Private Ryan fan, so like while watching this, I'm like, wow, I've seen this, right? I've seen this before.
Like how many beats? What are we talking?
The beats are all there. Like, going over the side of the boat, people drowning with their backpacks on.
Well,
the bullet fire, the hedgehogs, getting your up to the thing and blowing it with the, those little, stick them together and fling them up there.
I heard Saving Private Ryan just rip that off from an actual war.
They did. So. They took it right from the war, if you can believe it. I mean, geez. but no, they hit those beats really hard, and they do them really well in what I saw. I mean, obviously just a hands-off demo, but yeah, you feel like you're there. The player is in the middle of all that chaos, and that is what it was like, right? Or they're trying to simulate that. You're not a super soldier in this Call of Duty like we have been for the past several Call of Duties with, robot arms and jetpacks and everything. You're actually just like, a very vulnerable kid out of Texas who has not fought.
Is it going to be jarring for fans to not have some of those movement abilities now?
And that's what
we've
I'm
had
wondering.
it for so long.
I'm wondering how it's all gets implemented in multiplayer. We know a lot about campaign. Campaign is like no auto health regen, which is like insane, right? Can't just get shot, hide behind a rock, you heal up, you go back out, and you go down the tunnel. You will actually have to call upon your squad mates for, medic support, ammunition, and covering fire to be able to advance in some situations. So I don't know how it's implemented, but again, it's focusing on the fact that you're part of a squad and you're not some crazy badass who's just going to fly through the corridor level, shooting everything that moves and winning everything.
I have a question real quick.
Yes.
So the series over the last few years has definitely sort of become more known in terms of like the set piece moments, the bombast, all of that kinds of stuff. For the single player campaign, I know that there's definitely a community out there who like is really looking for an actual like good story out of a Call of Duty game. I know we don't know too much at this point.
We know enough.
But what's your take on whether or not that can happen with wwII?
It can. So I inquired about the set piece moments, and they're still going to be there. It'll be different. Like one of the ones I saw was like a church or some other building with a giant bell getting blown up while you're inside of it. That was pretty crazy. But there's still going to be that explosiveness. But again, from what we saw, they are treating this World War II with a lot more reverence and respect than they would. You're blowing up some random building that has GoBots being made in it. Right?
You're fighting Space Jon Snow.
Right.
And Church Cheetah.
They don't really care what they do with that because, right, Space Punch, he was awful anyway.
Yeah. And knowing that studio from when we went there for the Advanced Warfare trip, they are big on focusing on story in the way they talk about the game. And to be fair, I think Advanced Warfare largely pulled it off for the Call of Duty series. I think that was one of the more solid campaigns in a long while.
The campaigns have overall, with the exception of Black Ops 3, have been getting better for a while.
Yeah.
Especially Infinite Warfare I really enjoyed, and I liked Advanced Warfare as well. But yeah, for this one, the story is basically, you play as Red, the kid out of Texas. You've got a couple of your friends in the squad, and you make some new friends. And you've got the two, like, basically Platoon, the movie, okay?
All right.
You've got the really crazy, let's kill them all, anything, victory at any cost. And then you've got the other guy who's like, what are you doing? These are people kind of guy. And they'll be fighting, trying to fight for your soul during the course of the war and the situations that you're in. But on top of that, you're also going to, like, you're going to go through some situations that haven't been covered a lot extensively in other World War II games. Like Hurtgen Forest. That's a battle you rarely ever hear about when in this context.
Got a feel for them trying to map out where do we go that hasn't been seen before the game.
World War II. We're going from D-Day in Normandy through France to Germany. Like that's the course of the campaign. So
cool.
44 to 45. European theater only.
Did you leave optimistic?
Absolutely, especially since the things had leaked way ahead of time, right? So we knew it was World War II, and it was just like, okay, that's cool. I like World War II, but again, I kept getting that like, man, this is really like Saving Private Ryan, and that's not a bad thing, right? The more I thought about it, it's like, okay, that's fine. That's the campaign. I'm really excited about the multiplayer, and I know a lot of other Call of Duty people like me. We like the campaign, but we're only going to play it once, right? And then we're going to get to multiplayer stuff. And in addition, there is a separate co-op campaign. So all the co-op players out there, that's what they get to play. It's a different story, completely different story.
Interesting.
And as for the multiplayer goes, this sounds radically different than what we're used to with the perk system and everything. You pick a division, sort of like armor, infantry, airborne, and then you get promoted through it to get your upgrades and level up and class perks and stuff. So I have no idea how that's going to work in the scope of the stuff we've been used to for the last few years, like pick 12, pick X, whatever. We don't know what it's going to be like. And the whole asymmetrical combat of war is totally weird. Like, you're going to be, do you side with Axis or allies? Is that like a permanent thing you do, or you just swap back and forth? We don't know. And then you've got like the whole shared social space where tons of players are just going to hang out between games instead of the lobby.
I can't wait to watch people jump around at Omaha Beach.
God, I'm sure that it will not be presented that way.
I hope not.
We're really treating it with reverence here.
And
Right.
beach balls. Reverence and beach balls.
They
We should
actually,
make that clear.
they actually did. No, for real. Like, that kind of stuff always sinks in. But I'm sure, and I hope to God, there will not be any, like, pink robot armor people fighting on Normandy. That's just that will blow my mind.
Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can click right here if you want to subscribe and listen to the audio version of the full show. Full episodes air every Thursday, and they feature Game Informer editors sitting around talking about the biggest reviews, previews. We talk about exclusive impressions of Game Informer's cover stories. We have long-form developer interviews, everything that's great in gaming. So every Thursday, be sure to check it out.